So, why did Jesus focus so much on teaching? I want to give you 3 reasons why he did that that will apply to us today. Here's the first one. First reason that Jesus spent so much time teaching was to train the disciples. Jesus clearly intended to launch a movement after he was left. A lot of people say Jesus never planned to leave the church behind. That's not true. Jesus said, I will build my church. Now, I'm sure Jesus didn't have in mind all the things that we humans have done with the church over the years, right? Did you hear the story about the guy who was stranded on a desert island for a couple of years? And when they rescued him, before they took him off the island, he showed them all the things he had built during that time. He showed them the house that he had built. And he built a little tavern and a health club. And right in the middle of the island, he built this church. And then there was another building next to the church. And they asked him what that was. And he said, oh, it's where I used to go to church. I'm sure Jesus didn't have in mind all the things we've done, all the division, all the denominations, all the infighting, all the scandals. But he did have in mind the church. It was there from the very beginning. And if you read the Gospels, you see what Jesus' strategy was. That he called together these 12 men, he called disciples, we call them the apostles, and he spent the bulk of his time doing what? He was training them to take over when he was gone. You see it all over the place. Jesus said, you follow me and I'll teach you to be fishers of men. That's training. Jesus went out and he healed and he taught. And then he sent his disciples out on little training expeditions, 2 by 2. And they trained and they taught and they healed people. Then they came back to Jesus and they debriefed. What is he doing? He's training them. At the feeding of the 5,000. Remember that story? The disciples come to Jesus as the sun is setting. It's the end of the day. They say, Lord, send the crowds back or they're going to starve out here. And what does Jesus say to them? You give them something to eat. What's he doing? He's training them. And he's still training his men and women and children today. Each one of us in this room right here, each one of us has a call of God on his or her life to grow God's kingdom wherever he's planted you in your little orbit of influence, your little oikos, if you've ever heard that phrase. God wants you to grow his kingdom in those areas with those people. For that to happen, he needs to grow his kingdom in you. Are you willing for that to happen? Are you willing for Jesus to come and train you and to teach you? Because Jesus sees more in you than you see in yourself, and he wants to take you further than you've ever been before. But for that, we have to allow him to train us.